Right. All right. So I will quickly get into something and just take 5 more minutes of your time. So I am proposing that the state government should remove the blue midget from our central roads. That is to say, the tricycles that run our major roads should leave our major roads. And here is why. There is no developed city across the world that you will see tricycles on the main roads. Tricycles can run the streets. For example, Bendel Estate Junction into Bendel Estate. And let proper taxis run through Airport Junction all the way from Oguno and every other place. You will see that you are going to have better locomotion and proper transport system. And let them have the return of proper buses from MPA to PTI Junction, MPA to roundabout. And it may, again, like I said, some of the ideas will not sit very well immediately, because the question will be, what will the keke drivers do when this is implemented? I would ask you, what did the Okada drivers do when Okadas were banned from the streets? Are you all hearing what I'm saying? So we must consider that for proper progress, then we need to put proper structures in place. So it is my proposal that the tricycles should leave the express. They cause more harm than good. And I believe they cause some form of mental limitation. Number two, I believe very strongly that it is high time that the state government get into the business of fixing our airports, the Warri airports. It is true and it's good that Asaba is the state capital, but we will never be able to change it in this lifetime or the next, that Warri is the economic capital of Delta State. And just as it is with Nigeria, if Lagos works, Nigeria works. So if Warri works, Delta will work. And therefore, the airport system in Warri must become a high priority to the state government. I know for one, because a couple of years ago, I had the privilege of working on the project for the valuation of the Warri airport becoming an international airport. So I know with valid information that the Warri airport on paper is an international airport, cutting through 6 Okpe villages. And it has not been physically implemented, but I know this, that if the Warri International Airport goes into full force, the economy of the city of Warri and at large Delta State will automatically change for the better. And why many people will say government should provide jobs and all of that, I believe that there are just a few things that are in the purview of the government. Hence, we're having this citizens conversation. And if the government can actually effect the Warri International Airport, the jobs that they have indirectly created for everyone who would be dealing directly and indirectly with the airport is innumerable. And that would also affect the effecting of the Delta Cargo Airport, which is the Asaba Airport. It was built to be an international cargo airport. And here's a very interesting narrative. The people from Onitsha, I do not think that there are any other part of the country that brings in cargo into the country like the Onitsha main market. And Onitsha is 5 minutes from Asaba. If the cargo airport in Asaba goes into full force, I tell you, a lot of the economic delays and setback that we struggle with, we would not struggle with it. So it is my submission that the state government should consider the Warri and the Asaba airports going into full force. Thirdly, I propose that the government should make it clear why the Delta State government is one of the other states that does not have an ombudsman office, but we do not now also know the clear-cut connection or communication channels and line between the people and the government. So once we don't have what you might call certain privileged connections, then we cannot speak. So more opportunities and clear-cut opportunities and channel should be created just to hear the complaints of the people, so that we do not forget that it is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, which means that people's thoughts and opinions need to be heard beyond privileged rooms. So what is the direct channel? Is there even an anonymous email? Fourthly, very quickly, because we must move on to hear the other speakers. The truth about it is, I still don't think, even while we are broadcasting on the radio station and the managing director of Mega 89.1 FM is here, I still don't think that we have local news sorted in Delta State. The truth about it is, oftentimes I listen to the news, all the radio stations, so you don't defame any, or local news around here. We are knowing about the fact that Rihanna has a new baby, and we are hearing very interesting things, but there is fire outbreak in 2 streets from where we live. We know absolutely nothing about it. And we must also commend the fact that development is slowly and rapidly in some places coming into our city and our state. One of the things that development is causing for us is traffic, right? Now, if we have proper news, local news, then we would even have traffic updates on our local news. Commending Right Honorable Sheriff Obioroweri one more time for the infrastructure work that is happening in the state. Why I believe that some of them could be better planned so that everything is not happening at once, and sometimes blocking us all inside one small city because there's nowhere else to pass. But here's the thing, better planning could actually be communicated on better channels. For example, if we are going to start the gully system on Airport Road, then we might want to leave one other side of the city open, which is where everyone will now traffic through for that period of time. And this information, which is my major presentation or proposal, will be communicated where? On a proper local news channel. The Delta Rainbow TV station, I was there and I saw for myself it has become some form of a monument, and it is not necessarily a functioning news house to educate the people of Delta on the events of Delta. So we don't have news. I learned very recently, I was this year old when I learned that news is north, east, west, south. I didn't know before until this year. And don't be embarrassed if you are learning it now, that news is north, east, west, south. It's an acronym actually. So we don't have that coverage of north of Delta, east of Delta, west of Delta, and south of Delta. I can tell you that a lot of the people sitting in this room know nothing about what is happening in the north side of Delta. Means that we don't have appropriate news. And that is even a proposal not only to the government, also to private individuals to come into that space. Let us have, for example, radio globally is a local idea. Radio is supposed to be local. Cities have radio, and the news from the radio is supposed to be something that is local. There's traffic at Jakba Junction. As simple as today is Efron Market Day, because Efron Market Day affects everything. As simple as today is Efron Market Day. Mind the traffic this way, mind the traffic that way. That is very valid news. It's going to rain today. That is very valid news. Okay, in the recent communal upheaval, they're fighting in so and so place. That is valid news that will protect lives and property. So I think it's high time that we focus and invest on local news. On local news. Because without proper news channels, misinformation, which is one of the fuel for the recent upheaval, would continue to rise. It is the information that people have that actually informs the actions that they take. The government needs to jump in front of proper informing of the citizens and even reporting in the form of accountability what they are doing with tax money. And finally, this one is a bit political. Finally, you can take a deep breath. I grew up in Warri, and being here for over 4 decades, I can say this. Warri is beyond a place. It is now an idea. Why a lot of people fight for certain border lines in the city, we must all remember this, that the language of Warri is not Shishakiri, is not Ijo, is not Urobo. The language of Warri is Pidgin. The question is no longer where is Warri. The question is now what is Warri. And if we shift our minds from those things, it will change the narrative and it will change the drive and the pursuit of many people. And we want to say this here, that it is important that we learn that burning down the city will never achieve any cause. Many who were not here in 1999 during the last crisis are clamoring for some form of war. But those of us who were here know that there are parts of this city, e.g. Odeon Road, down all the way to Stadium, that have not recovered. You don't recover from such crises in 10 years or 20 years. So it's important that we all learn this. And I charge that the government come in front of it beyond vote protection. Every side, and I have listened, every side is lying. Every side is fabricating information. It is time that the government take a side and divide the city and say this is how it's going to be, not how it was, how it is going to be forthwith. And that, I believe, is the only solution that can be had. Thank you.